The special meeting of the Annapolis City Council, Monday, September 23rd, 2024, will be called to order at 7 p.m. At this time, join us for the invocation given by Alderman Pendell Charles, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Prayer for our country. Almighty God, who has given us this good land for our heritage, we humbly beseech thee that we may always prove ourselves a people mindful of any favor and glad to do thy will. Bless our hand with honorable industry, sound learning, and pure manners. Save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and arrogance, and from every evil way. Defend our liberties and fashion into one united people the multitudes brought hither out of many kindreds and tongues. Endue with the spirit of wisdom those to whom in thy name we entrust the authority of government, that there may be justice and peace at home, and that through obedience to thy law we may show forth thy praise among the nations of the earth. In the time of prosperity, fill our hearts with thankfulness, and in the day of trouble, suffer not our trust in thee to fail. All which we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley.
Here.
Alderman Huntley.
Present.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Present.
Alderwoman Pendell Charles.
Present.
Alderman Finlayson.
Present.
Alderman Chandler Meyer.
Present.
Alderman Gay.
Present.
Alderman Savage.
Present.
Alderman Arnett. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the first on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The first item on the agenda is ceremonial items, beginning with citations and proclamations, ID 8124, James Selwick citation. Yes. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. The first item is approval of the agenda.
Can I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended to remove appointment of Kevin Scott, to remove reappointment of Helen Leach, Human Relations, the condemnation and possession of real property, 245 West Street, that's 3843824. And was there some other amendments, please?
Additionally, we would like to remove appointments, AP 25 through 24, AP 2524 through AP 28.
Okay.
We're just postponing until the next council meeting so they have an opportunity to go back to House of New York.
Okay, great. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is ceremonial items, beginning with citations and proclamations. The first one is ID 8124, James Selwick citation.
All right. Jimmy, are you there? Hey, how you doing? Right. I'll come right up to you. Good. If you don't recognize this man, he's the one that keeps our downtown spotless. Been amazing city worker for how many years now?
22 years.
22 years, thank you.
We're 21 and 10 months.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, we were supposed to have given this to Jimmy during Earth Month, but he was not available. And then he's got busy, but we got him here finally.
All right, I'm glad you're here. So on behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we're pleased to confer upon you the City Council citation in recognition of your efforts to green the city and keep it tidy and litter-free. You go beyond your prescribed duties and demonstrate your pride and care for the city in spraying weeds in the sidewalk with your own environmentally friendly mixture of water, vinegar, and dish soap. You plant vegetables, 10 gardens around the city, Doc, creating urban gardens and adding lush foliage to the landscape. You care for the ducks with the morning feeding with your morning feeding time. You have a treat for a dog anytime. Greeting to all you meet. The Harbour Masters team appreciates your extra pair of eyes that you provide at City Dock, alerting them to anyone who seems to be in need of assistance. It is evident that you care deeply for this city, this community, and the environment. You are an excellent ambassador of Annapolis every day, but especially you were and you are all year, but this was for Earth Month, and thank you for everything you do for us, Jim. Cheers, buddy. Appreciate you.
A 300-year commemorative coin for the city of Annapolis. We'd like you to have that as well. You're welcome.
Can I say,
Yeah, you can say something. Yeah.
there's so many people that help me in the city. I have Brian Paplin from MIT. I have Tyler Norfield and Tim Jacob and Jacob Knoll. I have a guy named Tim Nevin down Public Works. So many people help me do my job because they believe in me. But all these young people here, I think we should keep Annapolis clean, and let's keep it green. Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item.
Yes, sir. The next item is ID 14724, Hispanic Heritage Month.
Right. So we have a few people coming up for this. Director Johnson, thank you. Jesse, Dallas, great, cool. Thank you, everyone. Great. Okay, we've got a few things to unveil here. But first we'll do this proclamation. Whereas the City of Annapolis recognises the contributions of the Hispanic Americans and to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month and culture. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations were started in 1968 under President Lyndon B. Johnson, who issued a presidential proclamation calling on the people of the United States to observe a week in September with ceremonies, programming, and activities. Whereas public officials, educators, librarians, community members observe the month by celebrating the culture, traditions of people whose ancestry can be traced to Spain, Mexico, Central America, South America, and Caribbean islands. Whereas the City of Annapolis recognises the vital contribution of Hispanic and Latino residents of the City of Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland in our economy and workforce. Whereas the City of Annapolis recognises that Hispanic and Latino residents play an important role socially, culturally, in our faith communities, and whereas we see systematic inequalities facing Hispanic and Latino peoples who live in our community and recognise the importance of moving the City of Annapolis towards a more just future for all residents. And whereas September marks a significant anniversary in the independence of Latin American countries, including Mexico, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Bolivia, Brazil, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Chile, and many others. Now be it resolved that the City of Annapolis urges all residents to observe and celebrate the significant contributions of Hispanic and Latino people between September 15th and October 15th. Thank you so much. Thank you. We have a couple of special things that we're going to do now with our Parks and Rec Director, Rosalind Johnson. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Brandon, you want to see? Good evening, everyone. For the record, my name is Rosalind Johnson, and I'm the Director of Recreation and Parks here in the city of Annapolis. My team can tell you how excited I was all summer in anticipation of September 15th and the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month. So I'm excited because this will be the first ever Hispanic Heritage Month festival that we've hosted at Recreation and Parks. And if you've attended any of the other events that we have had this year, you know we're planning something special. And I'll turn it over to our team member, Reina Guerrero, who's going to do the translation for us.
Buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Rosalind Johnson y soy la directora de Parques y Recreación de la ciudad de Nápoles. Mi personal puede decirles lo emocionada que estuve todo el verano antes del 15 de septiembre y el comienzo del mes de la herencia hispana. Estoy emocionada porque este sería el primer festival del mes de la herencia hispana que organizamos en Parques y Recreación. Y si has asistido a alguno de los otros eventos que hemos tenido este año, sabes que estamos planeando algo especial.
We just heard Mayor Buckley share the importance of recognizing the contributions of Latinos and Hispanic people to the growth and development of this country. Here in Annapolis, we must celebrate our own vibrant community of Spanish-speaking residents who add so much to the fabric of our city. Not only do they bring different experiences and perspectives, but they also expand the cultural offerings that are available in Annapolis, from the arts, the restaurants, the music, you name it. Annapolis would not be quite as interesting or amazing without a Latino presence. That's why this Saturday we will celebrate. Our Hispanic Heritage Month Festival is a free event at Pitt Moyer Recreation Center from 12 to 4. Since it's the first for Annapolis Recreation and Parks, we thought we should capture the significance of the event by issuing our very first commemorative poster. Not only will this beautiful poster serve as a visual reminder of our celebration, but it will also help to increase awareness about Hispanic Heritage Month here in Annapolis and become a collector's item for all who attend.
Acabamos de escuchar al alcalde Bukele y compartir la importancia de reconocer las contribuciones a los latinos del crecimiento y desarrollo de este país. Aquí en Annapolis deberemos celebrar nuestra propia y brillante comunidad de residentes de hablar español que añaden mucho al tejido de nuestra ciudad. No solo aportan diferentes experiencias y perspectivas, sino que también amplían la oferta cultural disponible en Annapolis, desde las artes, los restaurantes, la música, lo que sea. Annapolis no sería tan interesante sin una presencia latina. Por eso este sábado lo celebraremos. Nuestro Festival de Mes de la Herencia Hispana es un evento gratuito en el Centro Recreativo Pitt Moyer de las 12 a 4 p.m. Dado que es una novedad en Annapolis, pensamos que deberíamos capturar el significado del evento emitiendo un cartel conmemorativo.
The artwork featured on the poster was created by none other than a familiar face to us all, Mr. Jesse Rodaldes, who is a groundbreaking artist who happens to live in this area. And I also want to share that he is the first Olympic artist who happens to be Latino. His artwork is simply amazing, so we thought let's commission Mr. Rodaldes for our very first piece of artwork here for Hispanic Heritage Month. He was selected from thousands of artists to commemorate the 2006 U.S. Olympic team. He's the first Latino artist so honored, and we're fortunate that he was available to create this special image for the occasion. Jesse, can you tell us what's depicted and how it connects to the festival on Saturday before we unveil?
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. A pleasure. What I want to do is capture the vision of the difference in different Latino and Hispanic cultures. Although we are different and we have our different traditions, we all celebrate in the same way. So I wanted to add a little piece of all the cultures inside of this piece.
Este hermoso cartel no solo servirá como un recordatorio visual de nuestra celebración, sino que también ayudará a aumentar la conciencia sobre el mes de la herencia hispana aquí en Anápolis y se convertirá en una pieza de colección para todos los asistentes. La obra de arte que aparece en el cartel fue creado por el señor Jesse Raudales, un artista innovador que vive en esta área. El señor Raudales fue seleccionado entre miles de artistas para conmemorar los Estados Unidos del 2006, equipo olímpico, el primer artista latino tan honrado. Tenemos la suerte de que estuviera disponible para crear esta imagen especial para la ocasión. Jesse, ¿podrías decirnos qué se describe aquí y cómo se conecta con el festival del sábado?
Thank you, Jesse, for helping us mark this occasion with an amazing piece of artwork that so eloquently captures the spirit of Hispanic culture. These posters will be given to each person who attends the festival. We also have posters for everyone here tonight. These are single-sided versions in English and Spanish, but the ones given out at the event will be double-sided with both versions. If you're unable to attend the festival, you can stop by Pitt Memorial Recreation Center 7 days a week to pick one up, after the event is over, of course. So without further ado, Jesse and Wesley, do you want to unveil the artwork that Jesse, you've created and Wesley's helped? This is the original. You all probably need to switch. No, Jesse, you do it. It's your original. And this is the poster that everyone will receive. Thank you very much.
Gracias, Jesse, por ayudarnos a conmemorar esta ocasión con una obra de arte que captura con tanta elocuencia el espíritu de la cultura hispana. Estos carteles serán entregados a cada persona que asista al festival. También tenemos carteles para todos aquí esta noche. Se trata de versiones de una sola pieza, cara en inglés y en español, pero las que se entregarán en el evento serán de doble cara como ambas versiones. Si no puede asistir al festival, puede pasar por el Centro Recreativo de Pitt Moyer los 7 días de la semana para recoger una después de cada filencia el evento, por supuesto. Gracias a todos y esperamos verlos el sábado.
And can we give Raina a round of applause? She was a little nervous, but she did a phenomenal job.
All right, Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item is ID 15024, Kiwan Moore, a.k.a. Mr. Fix-A-Flat.
Right. Come on, they're coming up for us. Thanks, buddy. Awesome.
How y'all doing today?
Hey, how you doing? Thank you. We appreciate you. This is awesome. We get a chance to do this. All right, so you got a few of these guys here with you, or no?
Yeah.
Destiny, you want to come up too, or not? Yeah. Asia?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to do the citation. I'm going to let these guys tell you what they do in the community, which is, we need more stories like your story. Thank you so much. So, on behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we're proudly present this city citation in recognition of your exemplary work with youth in the Robinwood neighbourhood. Your dedication, volunteerism has fostered a strong sense of community and collaboration, not only within Robinwood, but throughout the city as a whole. The City of Annapolis deeply appreciates the impactful contributions you continue to make, and I'll let you tell everybody what you do, but how it started. If you can just give a little background, everybody. You need to come to the microphone, though, yeah? Yeah, I'll hold it up for you.
How everybody doing today? My name Kawan Moore, aka Mr. Fix-A-Flat. How I started off, I pretty much started off in the neighborhood, fixing the broken bikes at the, dumpster and everything for the kids. And it just started skyrocketing. So now, what I do now is I partner with Wheels of Hope, and they give me bikes to also help me give out to the neighborhoods for the kids. Okay, and also I'm planning a Halloween party on the 26th for the neighborhood. So if anybody want to come through and, bring your kids, I'm in the Robinwood neighborhood.
Even if you want to volunteer, it's open to anyone. If you got little ones, bring them on through. We love all the kids, so bring them past.
All right, Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is petitions, reports, and communications, beginning with update from the mayor.
So good evening. I want to thank Public Works and the OEM staff for their work over the weekend to control, as best we can, the impacts of flooding on City Dock, Compromise Street, and areas of Eastport. We had a lot of flooding this year, and we're on track to have a more high water days than any other year in the city's recorded history. This weekend, flooding posed additional challenges because it was beautiful. First weekend of fall with sunny skies, moderate temperatures, and nearly 4 feet of flooding in low-lying areas. On the City Dock, that means most of Dock Street was inundated. When that happens, businesses lose revenue, the city loses parking, and overall it is a disappointment to residents and visitors who want to spend their time and money in downtown only to find out they can't due to high water. This is why, for the past 5 years, we've been working on the City Dock Resilience Plan, and we are now close to being able to put shovels in the ground. Throughout the process, we've worked to hear all sides and make changes to the plans to please the greatest number of people. We've stayed true to the ideas and vision laid out in the 2020 City Dock Consensus Plan, which outlined all the elements: a raised community park with a fountain and stage, a new visitor centre, and headquarters for the Harbour Master. Along the way, we've worked to accommodate important stakeholders like the boat show and Watermark Cruises, whose livelihoods depend on the vibrant and accessibility of City Dock. We have listened to heritage stakeholders by redesigning and reducing the size of the Harbour Master and Waterfront Welcome Centre to ensure it complements the Burtis House and is consistent with historic architecture at City Dock. We work closely with the Naval Academy to ensure our planning ties in with theirs for continuous flood protection to keep downtown protected from rising seas for the next 70 to 100 years. We've held dozens of community meetings and captured feedback from all over Annapolis about the things residents want to see at our new City Dock, and built into this is accessible parking, shade, programmability, family-friendly spaces, and recognition for all cultures and stories that played a role in the history of the dock and our city. I thank everyone who contributed and supported the project and helped us bring to life the vision outlined in 2020. I particularly want to thank the City Council for their vision and leadership and thoughtful oversight. In a project as significant and complex as this, differing views are inevitable, especially as planning moves from broad concept to concrete details. It has become clear to me in the past few weeks that a lot of the comments and questions we continue to hear are based on fundamental misunderstandings about project planning and government processes. It is important to note that the city officials must be forthright and honest when developing and reviewing budgets, submitting for bonds, planning jointly with the Resilience Authority or Naval Academy when going to before review committees at FEMA. I encourage all residents to visit accessannapolis.com to get the facts on all aspects of the project, because we can't afford to repeat the mistakes of the past. We can't afford, yet again, to argue ourselves into paralysis and inaction. Too much is at stake in what is now our biggest ongoing and steadily intensifying public safety emergency. We are now close to final approvals for the park and flood protection. I look forward to the day when we can withstand these sunny day flooding challenges and have businesses fully functioning with no water lapping to their doors. Speaking of the Naval Academy, they'll be celebrating their 189th birthday in October alongside the US Navy's 249th birthday. The Naval Academy is a big part of what makes Annapolis so special, so please join me in wishing them a happy birthday, and go Navy on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Navy. Go Navy, beat Army, all that stuff. Tomorrow, the city's No Harm and NAM teams will be presenting Black Mental Health Matters 2, prioritizing mental wellness in the Black community in honor of National Suicide Prevention Month. We are working with Black People Die by Suicide 2 and We Fight foundations to prioritize mental wellness. So Tuesday's event is at Robin Woods Recreation Centre from 5 to 7 with dinner, giveaways, and community resources. It is free. Come out. You never know who you might need, when you might need to access resources to help a loved one or even save a life. We've had a few international delegations stop by City Hall in the last couple of weeks. Sweden, New South Wales, Australia, and the Netherlands. We are an attractive destination for diplomats because we are close to DC and have a number of resilience and transportation initiatives of interest. We welcome both the visits and the word of mouth they elicit along Embassy Row. These are great learning opportunities for all participants. We are happy to have these delegations come support our local businesses and spend time in Annapolis and enjoy this beautiful city. It is Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th through October 15th in Annapolis. We're celebrating with flags on Main Street, a Day of the Dead festival at the end of October at Maryland Hall, and Wreckham Park's Heritage Festival at Pip Moyer this weekend from noon to 4 p.m. It's free with food and fun for the whole family. On Sunday, the Kenneth Adam Pool at Truxton Park will have the final event of the swim season with doggy dive-in, an opportunity to bring your pup for a swim at the pool before it closes. You'll need to register your dog online for this event under the Aquatics tab on the city website, That is www.annapolis.gov. Your pets must be registered for the event, licensed, and show proof of current vaccination history. There's a $10 per dog, and the only approved stroke, of course, is doggy paddle. Thank you, Mitchell, for that, gentleman. A great way to get ready for this fall is to clean out those basement closets and garages and buy a table at the community rummage sale in Pitmoy Rec Centre parking lot. That is on October 19th. Details are available on the city's website. Let your pre-loved merch be someone's new treasure. So please come out and sign up for that on October 19th. Last up, another reminder for Annapolis, boat shows on October 3 to 6 for the Powerboat Show and October 10 to 14th for the Sailboat Show. Parking is available at Navy Stadium with free shuttle or any of the city garages, and use the free Magenta Shuttle. This year we're asking rideshare and taxi riders to set their destinations down to number 7 St. Mary Street for easiest ingress and egress. And we are working with Uber and Lyft to inform their drivers as well. That was a long one. Thank you, everybody. Now, Mr. City Attorney, what's next on the agenda?
Yes, sir. The next on the agenda is reports by committee.
Alderman O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. The Transportation Committee met last week. We gave favorable recommendations to several appointments for the Transportation Board. We also had a Transportation Board update. We talked with Annapolis Premium Parking about some of the issues going on at the Hillman Garage still. And we've asked a couple of questions for them. We're waiting on answers in regards to payment and whatnot. It was also noted that Knighton Garage and Gott's Garage will be gateless starting the end of September, early part of October. So they will be operating on a gateless system. And we had a great discussion around the new Annapolis, the Go Time micromobility, which is really exciting, and I hope everybody starts to use it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Pendell Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Public Safety Standing Committee met on September the 10th. We had one reappointment, Mr. Joseph Semo for Police and Fire Retirement Commission, recommendation favorably to the council. We also had Annapolis Office of Emergency Management present Director Simmons, as well as the Exercise Training Outreach Coordinator, Ms. Torres, were present to answer questions from the committee. From the Annapolis Fire Department, Chief Romali, along with Deputy Chief Lopez and Deputy Chief Powell, were present to answer questions from the committee. And Annapolis Police Department update, Major Stan Branford and Captain Miguez were present to answer questions from the committee. The next meeting is scheduled for Monday, October the 7th, here in Council Chambers at 4 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Savage, then Alderman Shannemeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If people are curious, at our last Environmental Matters Committee meeting, we did receive an update from the Department of Public Works, and they spoke about a stormwater outfall assessment program that they've done. And this in particular is important because the stormwater outfalls are where all of our pipes dump out into the creeks, and they often have a lot of damage from erosion, and primarily erosion. It dumps a lot of sediment into our bay, which we're trying to reduce. So this study that they're doing is basically assessing these outfalls to figure out what kind of work we need to do in the future. So once it's completed, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Alderman Shannemeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Economic Matters met on September 23rd, where we approved a slew of appointments that will be in front of us today, and we gave them favorable recommendation. We got an update from our economic development team on the downtown flood recovery after the August flood. Good news is all those businesses are back in action. And then we discussed 01124 and 0624. We postponed final action until our next meeting, which will be on October 16th.
Thank you. Alderman Finlayson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Rules and City Government Committee met on September 6th, and our report was given at the last council meeting. The next meeting will be held on Friday, October 4th at 1 o'clock here in council chambers. All are invited to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Huntley.
At our last meeting of the Finance Committee on September 18th, we started off strong by electing the Ward 1 Alderman as chair. And then we went through and approved a slew of supplemental appropriations. One that we realized we no longer needed to take action on had a handful of legislation, some of which you'll see before you tonight, including the plastic bag reduction fines, and our big approval of general obligation bonds. So I believe that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item is comments by the general public.
Right. So if you are here to speak on planning and zoning, expanding daycare, residential parking districts, election, all the election things, taxi cab driver licenses, special residential parking districts, and the City of Annapolis purchasing procurement, there is going to be a hearing afterwards for those things. But if you're here for anything else, we have the first person signed up to speak for 3 minutes, is Phil Reynolds. Please come forward and state your full name and address. Thank you, Phil. Doesn't sound like it.
Great, fine. Thank you very much. Good evening. I'm Phil Reynolds. I live at 4 Westwick Court in Annapolis. The village at Providence Point, which I represent tonight, is about 2 minutes' drive from my son's house. And so it's a perfect place for retirement for me and some of us other old folks. It's a great place, and we're looking forward to it. As a manager of some of the major UN environment facility projects, I was dead against the original proposal at Crystal Spring. It was too big. It was too many bad things. But I was very impressed. Also, like Gerald Weingrad, both of us were impressed with the ability of National Lutheran, which manages Providence Point, to respond to the 55 points raised by the City Council and to respond with them well and guarantee that the project would be within the forestry management plan, the traffic plan, and the clean water plan. So it was because of this that the City Council, that the City Planning Commission approved this project on the 17th of February, 2022. 2022, I mean, one develops a sense of history, don't we? I mean, we've been at this for a while. So when this happened, my wife and I and 250 other potential residents for Providence Point actually signed up and put some big money down, but we couldn't move in because of a frivolous lawsuit by the Crab Creek Conservancy. Now, Providence Point will actually take about 28 acres of land, and Providence Point has agreed to reforest the same number of acres so that there will be no trees lost in the process, and that the plan will meet all the requirements of the city. For about 30 years, the middle school, outflow of water from the middle school has polluted Crab Creek. Now, the so-called Conservancy of Crab Creek has done nothing at all about this. But National Lutheran has agreed to put about $500,000 against remediating the outflow from the middle school. It's a huge compromise. So, friends, if this development does not take place, the original owner, the owners, have the right and may actually decide to develop 450 private homes on this land, much bigger coverage. I didn't mention that 124 acres of this land will be in perpetual easement, so nothing can be built on them. So you are representatives. I ask you to decide what's better for the city. And I encourage you to think about placing a resolution recognizing the value of Providence Point for this city and supporting your own planning commission in its effort to keep the city beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Liz Barrett.
I think you still can hear me.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Liz Barrett, and I live at 607 Monterey Avenue and plan to move into the village at Providence Point. I've lived in Annapolis for almost 60 years, and in those years, when I was in my 20s, I lived in Anchorage. Driving to that first giant supermarket in Parole took less than 10 minutes. Today, it takes about 30 minutes or more. Our opponents say that the village at Providence Point will make traffic even worse on Forest Drive. Wrong. The village at Providence Point will alleviate some of Forest Drive's headaches. Skipper's Lane will now run from Spa Road through Providence Point to Newtown Drive, creating the new road parallel to Forest Drive that we've all hoped for. New and wide dedicated lanes, turn lanes from Forest Drive onto Crystal Spring Farm Road will mitigate approaches and departures. There will be a 10-foot shared use path along Forest Drive and a public walking path along Forest Drive and Spa Roads. What's more, the widening and dedicated turn lanes on both sides of the intersection of Spa Road and Forest Drive will put an end to the nightmare of traffic at that junction. The 3 old buildings along Forest Drive will be removed and the resulting areas reforested, leaving an uninterrupted view of trees and forests. Beautiful. The following is a reading of the Planning Commission's opinion and order on Providence Point. Quote, with the extension of Skipper's Lane as a multimodal spine for the project that connects to Spa Road, and with the extension of the shared use path on Forest Drive and Spa Road, the proposed project will meet the policy goals set down in the relief road concept of the last comprehensive plan and have an enormously positive impact in doing so, end quote. Hooray. On the Crab Creek Conservancy website, you will see none of this or any of what we covered at your meeting 2 weeks ago. I think their followers just continue to consider this the same project as Crystal Spring of very many years ago. The current naysayers refuse to acknowledge the facts, and so they continue to spiel nonsense. Please make a resolution supporting this excellent development and set their minds at ease. And thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor. I have a
Next up.
I need a question for clarity. Will this be the exclusive assisted living facility off of Forest Drive?
I'm not sure what you mean. It's
And the project is, I'm just not.
It's been in development for nearly close to 10 years now.
Has there been a work session on it, or?
Yeah, lots. It's been approved 2 times by the city, but it's been appealed multiple times in the latest
So no
appeal.
formal work session by this council, though?
Well, yeah, it's already gone through. Thank you. All right, next up is, and thank you, everybody. We are with you. We support you 100%. It's going to be amazing when we finally, I want to shovel in the ground before I leave office.
Remember that. Thank you. All right, yeah.
All right, next up, the person that brought all these fine young men here today. We're great to see you at City Council. Mr. Kemp Hammond, please come forward.
My fan club. Good evening, everybody. My name is Kemp Hammond. I'm here in my capacity as a city resident, taxpayer, parent, coach, Uber driver of some of these kids. Born and raised in the city. My parents actually served up on this dais years ago. I've kind of been behind the scenes, coaching sports, baseball, basketball, taking these kids to and from those events. I'll try to keep it short. My purpose for this testimony this evening is simple and specific. I am urging you to please make it happen to get a 90-foot baseball diamond in this city, the home of Cal Ripken now. There's no reason why it shouldn't happen. I've raised this several times the last few years. I feel like it's fallen on deaf ears. The most feasible location, in my opinion, is Collison. There have been some recent efforts on my part to get this to happen, along with some other folks who are here this evening. I've gotten 2 reasons why it can't happen, allegedly. One of them is that the field at Collison is not big enough. I can't disagree with that anymore. It's 297 feet down each line. That's plenty of room per the Little League regulations. And you go to any field that we've played on or gone to, it's about that distance. And the field there at Collison is actually taller than any field that we've been to. The second reason I got is that, well, if we allow these 7th and 8th graders to play on a 90-foot diamond, we're going to have to open up to adult leagues. And the city would have to require them to use wooden bats. And that's a rule that we don't want to put into effect, because then somebody's going to have to enforce it, and we don't want to have to enforce that. I don't get that either. What's the point of having any rules at all if you're not going to enforce them? If you actually go to the league lineup page right now on the city's website, Monday nights in the fall is men's league night. There may also be a co-ed league there. So the city supports adult use, but not 7th and 8th graders who are here to play baseball. In fact, if you go out there, you'll see these team names: Acme, Bad News Beers, I'm not making these names up, Scared Hitless, and Balls Deep. So we support that, but we don't support these kids playing baseball. I don't get it. It's inequitable at best to not let these kids have an opportunity to play baseball, especially considering adults get to use this. And I got at least 2 or 3 teams worth of kids. This is just a small sample of these kids telling me they're interested in playing the game, but there's no field, so what's the point of them even trying? And I can't take them anywhere to go to a field. I don't have the time to get into all the benefits of youth sports, including baseball. I think one of the kids will talk about that. I'll say this: I developed many lifelong friends playing this game. And one of them is actually the alderman from the 3rd Ward's son, Marvin Charles, who was still a friend of mine. I don't understand. I got that opportunity. Why don't these kids get the same opportunity? It doesn't make any sense to me. Let them play. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
So it's just testimony, so thank you.
I actually have a question, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Alderman Gay?
The Alderwoman does as well. Who sanctions, I'm not familiar with the youth baseball. Is this county league or?
So it can be an intra-city league if there's enough teams. If not, then there can be play through a couple of leagues. One of them is the Anne Arundel County Cooperative, which is more rec. And then there's another Chesapeake Baseball Association, which is like a rec plus type of a league. And they can have games easily scheduled at Collison Field if the city would allow it.
And my last question, where is the current home field?
We don't have a home field.
Okay.
And that's part of the problem. We're playing out on Route 50 sometimes if we have to at 2 a.m. or in the middle of West Street. I don't know. That's where we are. I say we, meaning the city.
We're in the middle of a lot of dialogue on this, so we're gonna work it out. Right?
Okay.
My point quite with this is my first. And during the budget process, if you remember, I put in that an amendment for a field study at Collison. You know, obviously because I feel that we're missing out on recreational revenue with youth sports, adult sports, whomever, and the fields just aren't up to par. And I'm wondering, I wish the Director of Recreation and Parks would have stayed here. What's the status of that? I recall in the fiscal year 24 budget discussion, she said that they had already been in the process of doing a field inquiry. So where does that stand?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And I can circle back around with the director.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your testimony. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor,
sorry.
I do have a question.
Hold on. Cam.
Mr. Hammond, I do have a question.
Cam, you want to come back up again? Alderman Finlayson, who probably was your teacher, wants to.
No, not. Well, there is a field at Powell's. So can you explain, that's within what, half a mile outside of the city limits?
You got a few hours to talk about this. That is outside the city limits. Powell is already pretty much maxed out. as far as field usage goes. They have one 90-foot diamond. So right now they have at least 4 teams between 13 and 14-year-olds vying for that one field. In the fall and in the spring, it's going to get worse. One of the things I was told was, hey, go out to the high school. Well, the high school, Annapolis High School, plays baseball in the spring. They're going to play every day. Go out to St. Mary's Field. That's what it's referred to as now. Well, that's Pindell Park. That's Pesquet Park. All of a sudden, it's become St. Mary's Field. I don't know how that happened. So that's one of the things I've been trying to figure out.
I understand. I was just inquiring about the Powell's
Right,
Field,
Powell
because I know
is
that
county.
is part of the discussion, but the mayor said that they're working on it, so thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, Stan Womack is next up.
Move slow these days. Good evening, everybody. Honorable Mayor, honorable councilmen and women. I'm Stan Womack. I live at 21 Silipana Road here in Annapolis, lifelong resident of Annapolis, 73 years. I just want to say I'm in support of baseball being played to come back to the city of Annapolis. You know, I played baseball here in the city of Annapolis a lot of years ago. And a lot of years ago, we had not one 90-foot diamond at Germantown, but we had a 90-foot diamond at Collison Field. Now, I don't understand what happened to those fields. Well, I do understand. They called it improvement. Okay, it's improvement. But what about our children? It seems like, you know, we're an afterthought these days. We find money for downtown. The mayor mentioned that, you know, when it's flooding down there, it's loss of revenue. I'm a businessman. I understand loss of revenue. I've had my share. But my concern is losing these children. They're our future. And I really think we fumbled the ball here in Annapolis when it comes to youth sports and recreation. We're asking for one ball diamond, and we just seem like we can't find space or the time or the money to do that. You know, I got a lot of pet peeves to pick when it comes to youth sports. We do baseball, football, and basketball. Long fields. We don't have a long field here in the city of Annapolis. Well, we do. We have Weems Whalen, but it hasn't been played on for almost 13 years. And that's a crime. I played there when I was a kid. And you know, to us, playing at Weems Whaling was like going to the Super Bowl here in the city. And now all we can do is look at the field. But we're here for baseball. These guys want to play. Baseball helped to nurture me and guide me when I was a kid. It has helped me to become a successful businessman here in this city. I know what youth sports can do when it comes to our children, helping to guide them and nurture them and teaching them, you know, how teamwork and how to develop cognitive skills is so important, guys. So I just beseech you to just find a way to make it happen. We need a 90-foot diamond here. We actually need more than that. We've got field space to do it, but it seems like we don't have the willpower to get it done. So you're our last resort. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Chase Watkins.
For most of you who
Thanks, Chase. If you could just give your full name and address, please, and then start your comments. Thank you.
My name is Chase Watkins, and I live at 1872 Bowman Court.
Thank you.
For the most of you who don't know me, my name is Chase Watkins, and I am here today to tell everyone in the building how important baseball is to me and why there should be access to more 90-foot baseball fields in Annapolis, Maryland. I would like to take time to thank Mr. Kemp Hamming for exposing the game of baseball to me. I would have never thought that I would be playing baseball. Also, Coach Rick, Coach Josh, and Coach Zach, they gave me a chance and have really taught me a lot of the game about the game baseball. Baseball is a physical and mental sport. Although I only have been playing baseball for a short amount of time, baseball has taught me discipline and to always focus and stay humble. The lessons I learned in baseball I have applied in life and will continue to. Fortunately for me, I had a Kemp Hammond and a Coach Josh and the ones I mentioned before to take a chance on me. However, there are many more kids who aren't as lucky as me and just need a chance or an opportunity to experience the game of baseball and all the lessons it has to offer. I would like to thank my teammates for welcoming me on the team. I challenge you this evening to be a chance to other kids like me and give other kids like me an opportunity of a lifetime. Thank you for your time and have a good evening.
Nice job. Levi Wooster is next up.
My name is Levi Wooster. I live on 26 Williams Drive. I'm here today with my teammates and coaches to try to get us a field. We've been playing everywhere, whether it's St. Mary's Field, Bestgate Park, to going to General's Highway or General's Highway Park. And we really just need a 90-foot diamond because, I mean, we're all young. It helps, as my friend Chase said, helps with discipline, keeps us humble, and it'll keep everybody in Annapolis athletic. And I think it's a great idea to keep everybody involved with sports because I believe that it helps people in life. It builds true character, and it's just, we need it. And, you know, all my teammates are here. We're all for the same cause, same with my coaches. We're just really desperately need a field. And we're here just try to get that and stay together as an organization and have fun. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you, everybody. Great job. Next up, I'm sure this isn't about baseball, Eric Evans.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Eric Evans, 38 City Gate Lane. It's tough to follow a baseball crowd. I'm here on behalf of the Annapolis Arts District's Board of Directors who've asked me to come speak tonight about Resolution 3824 about the condemnation of 245 West Street. The Annapolis Arts District shares the city's concerns that this decrepit and long vacant property is underutilized, has safety hazards, creates a blighted area in the community. The site has the potential to be a keystone property within the Arts District, which is designated by the city, county, and state to create economic development through arts and culture. The city recently adopted the 2040 Comprehensive Plan, which explicitly recognizes the importance of arts in achieving this goal. When considering the resolution, the question of future uses of 245 West Street property should be paramount. This site presents an exceptional opportunity for the enhancement of downtown Annapolis through the creation of additional public art space and green space within the Arts District. Early results of an Arts District survey of the arts community, which is part of our Economic Vibrancy Initiative, has emphasized that the need for more downtown arts-related spaces and affordable housing for artists. Our board is eager to work with the city councils to address these needs in the context of future plans for 245 West Street. The condemnation of private property, although rare in Annapolis, has traditionally been used by governments today to create tangible public benefits such as parks and schools. Applying this approach to 245 West Street would generate enormous positive benefits to the citizens of Annapolis. The resolution mentions possible uses of the acquired property to include affordable housing in the park. It does not exclude other uses or require any specific uses. We wish to stress the importance of requiring a community benefit that includes the arts and mixed uses if the city acquires the property or chooses to flip the property. This could include ground floor commercial space that is an arts venue, upper levels that could include artist subsidized housing and or artist studio space. These types of arts-related mixed-use projects are common in other arts districts around the state, and there is grant money that is available through different programs, including the Department of Housing and Community Development for this purpose. The current language in the resolution suggests the purchase of the property is being considered with no requirements for the property's future use as a public benefit. The fiscal impact statement from the city states that if the city council does not approve a third party paying the price of the property, the city will need approximately $2 million to purchase the property based on current appraisals. The resolution itself mentions forcing the sale of the property to maximize revenue. If the city council considers this resolution, we encourage you to require, not merely suggest, a public benefit. Thank you.
Thank you. And if Don is here to speak about the same thing, it's been pulled. And
Okay.
so there's been an offer on the property, so we're not going to follow through on that. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's the same people that did the Uptown thing. So. The same people that did the condos on the street there. So. Did you want to come and speak still, Don, or are you okay?
No,
Yeah.
none of it's been called.
Yeah, it's been
But
called,
I
yeah.
would like to say one thing.
Sure.
When we look across the city, we
full name,
established-
Don, full name and
Oh,
address.
sorry, yes, Don Lamb Minor, 107 Northwest Street.
Thank you.
When we look across the city, you have many priorities to deal with, and I think you've dealt with a big one in the dock. I mean, absolute gratitude I have for the work that tons of work, mountains of work that you put into that to get it where it is today. That was a big priority. We have another priority in the city, and that's the outer West Street. Those corridors that lead out of the city, lead away from the historic downtown. They're economic drivers as well. That's what the Arts District is intended to do. So being involved for the first time in the 2040 plan that this group certified, or ratified, excuse me, we think it's important to ensure that that art district has the ability to serve the community and be a draw as a city of arts, different from downtown. It's not going to add traffic to downtown, but it's a priority that we need to be looking forward to. The Arts District is willing to be a partner in that. We formed the Economic Vibrancy Committee simply to add detail to that 2040 plan that you all passed. So we'd like your help in that. We volunteer our help in that. You know, you people are committed. A lot of people just participate. But when I think about commitment and participation, I think about a bacon and egg breakfast. Because I know that the hen participated in that breakfast, but the hog was committed. You've been committed for a number of years now. We have nothing but praise for you. It's our turn to add to the commitment. We're here to help. We hope you'll use us. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Thank you. That is everybody signed up to speak. Would anyone else like to come forward, speak?
Mr. Mayor, if we could hear from the director now that she's here. That would be fantastic.
I think it should be offline. It's public testimony, Alderman Gay.
Is that illegal?
It's not, what we're doing now is just public testimony, so we're here to listen. The director can give you an independent assessment on where we are on the field. We're in agreement with you, but there's no need to call her up here at a city council meeting for this, Alderman Gay.
No questions at the city council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I declare the public hearing closed. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. The next item on the agenda is consent calendar. Approval of the consent calendar.
Can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Point of information. I think you have to read through everything on the consent calendar, right? Before we make a motion on it.
What would you like to do, sorry?
I thought we had to read through everything, all the titles on the consent calendar before we make a motion to.
It's a lot to read.
Could we?
We pulled 3. You heard that we adjusted the consent calendar. We don't have to do that. I will do it if you need it, or Mr. City Attorney?
It's never done, baby. It's been never done, so I don't know what you want me to do. What do you need me to do? We never do it, but what do you need me to do?
We do it sometimes, but...
We do it, okay.
It's been done before, especially when there's a lot on there, just to know what we are voting on the consent
You
calendar.
want to read it, Mr. Mayor?
No.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to make a motion, because I didn't hear a motion, that we carry these all together.
I'll go ahead and second that, Alderman Gay.
That you, so what's that, Alderman Gay?
Carry them all together instead of individual.
That's what.
That's what the consent calendar requires.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I could take some, do you want to read them over on those?
All you have to do is read through the titles, SA 625, SA 725. I just want to make sure we're clear what we're voting on here.
I'm not going to do that, Alderman Savage. Sorry. Okay. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is business and miscellaneous, beginning with supplemental appropriations, 50,000 above.
Point of order, the consent calendar doesn't pass if one of us objects.
I don't think so.
That's true.
So you're going to just... So...
I don't know what I'm voting on because we had a lot removed. I want to clarify for the record.
God.
I'm sorry, it's not anything unusual.
So what do we do now? We reconsider it? But we voted on it, so how do we recall it?
We didn't vote on it because when he objected, consent calendar goes away and then call each item individually.
And vote on it each individually?
Point of information is if the majority of the body wishes to move forward, the alderman's inquiry can be negated, correct?
No, sir.
Not on consent calendar.
What if?
It's like rule suspension.
So can one of the council move them all as a group or not?
No, sir.
Okay, so we are going to have to do them all individually now. So first of all, we're going to vote on...
The next item is supplemental appropriations under $50,000, beginning with SA 625, Grand Transportation, Maryland Department of Transportation.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Sorry?
Point of
I didn't see your hand.
Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
This is the consent calendar, and
Yeah.
I believe by virtue of our code, it says we take the collective group and vote on them as one. So we have taken all of these off of the consent calendar. Is that what we've done?
Your colleague took them all off the consent calendar.
So
He
one
objected to-
person can move to...
Correct. That
take
makes
them
it a
off?
non-consent.
Okay, so now we vote for each one individually.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do you want to move the next one, please?
The next item is supplemental appropriation of $50,000, SA 725.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Next items are appointments and reappointments, beginning with AP 1224. Reappointment, Mr. Joseph Simo, Police and Fire Retirement Commission.
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Next item is AP 1324. Reappointment, Mr. Scott Anderson, Port Wardens.
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Next item is AP 1424. Reappointment, Mr. Bill O'Leary, Environmental Commission.
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Next item is AP 1524. Reappointment, Mr. Paul Murphy, Environmental Commission.
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next.
Next item is AP 1724. Appointment, Ms. Sally Albright, Annapolis Conservancy Board.
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Next item is AP 1924. Reappointment, Ms. Tara Ashmore, Transportation Board.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Next item is AP 2124. Appointment, Mr. Forrest Landa, Transportation Board.
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Next item is AP 2324. Reappointment, Ms. India Oaks,
So moved.
Education Commission.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Next item is AP 2924. Reappointment, Ms. Grace Matthews.
So moved.
We took those off. We moved 24, we moved 25, 26, 27, got tabled along with 28.
Great. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Next item is AP 3424. Reappointment, Ms. Rosemary Katchmar, Human Relations Commission.
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
The next item is AP 3924. Reappointment, Mr. Wilfred Scott, Historic Preservation Commission.
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
The next item is AP 4824. Appointment, Mr. Cecil Cummins, Historic Preservation Commission.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Point of information.
Yes.
Robert's Rules of Orders on page 47 states that if a member votes, that if a member votes to change or a member votes against a majority's opinion, and if more than 2/3 of the body votes in the majority rules.
It's faster to debate. It's faster to just read through this than debate it. Let's just keep reading
I'd like
through
to
it.
look into that.
I'm just saying, page 47, Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, please.
Next item is AP 4924. Appointment, Mr. Eric Goff, Historic Preservation Commission.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Next item is AP 5024. Appointment, Mr. Fortney Stark, Education Commission.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
The next item is AP 5124. Appointment, Ms. Mary Bannon, Historic Preservation Commission.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Next item is business miscellaneous, beginning with supplemental appropriations 50,000 above. The next item is SA 325, Capital Public Works Miscellaneous Revenue.
Is there a motion?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney?
Next item is SA 425, Grant Transportation, Maryland Department of Transportation.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Next item is SA 525, Grant Transportation, Maryland Department of Transportation.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney?
Next item is SA 825, AIPPC Contractual Services, AIPPC Fund Balance.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Question about this.
Yes.
So this is on SA 825?
Yes.
So what happens to the unused funds from the AIPCC? Do they go back to the general fund? Or do they carry over with the AIP?
Director Dickinson.
Yep. Jody Dickinson, Finance Director. They stay in the fund, in the separate fund that we have for AIPPC. And as typically happens, FY24 resulted in additional fund balance for them that we hadn't anticipated. They are allotted 3% of the occupancy taxes we collect. We don't have the option of moving them back to the general fund. That's the state law, that we put the 3% aside for AIPPC.
And so what's their total now?
The total amount, I did that earlier today. They have this, hold on a second. What's the number of this one? 8.
Something that can be handled offline, don't you think?
No, it's okay. I'm going to find the email from earlier today. I did it for somebody today. Hold on.
If you don't have the information in front of you, Alderman Savage will.
I have it.
It sounds like it's a moot point for today. If you could let me know, I'm just curious.
Okay, so right, as of today, they have $118,992 in their fund balance. And this will give them an additional, $121,000, and after this, they'll have $240,000 additional to spend.
Wow.
$240,000 total, I'm sorry, to spend.
Alderman Gay?
Is this their 3% allotment?
It is what's unspent and unencumbered from their 3% allotment up through June 30, 24.
Okay, it would be fantastic if we could have a work session on this group that appears to be sitting on a quarterly.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, sir. The next item is SA 925, Grant, Mayor's Office, Department of Energy.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney.
The next item is fund transfers, beginning with FT 225, Capital Department of Public Works, Capital Reserve Federal Grant Revenue.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney.
Now, the next item is public hearings, Mr. Mayor, beginning with ordinance 01324, Planning and Zoning, Expanding Daycare Act.
Right, first up to speak is Erin Hansen. Please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Erin Lorenz Hansen, and I reside at 53 Gentry Court with my husband and 2 young children. And I hope all of you will support the Expanding Daycare Act to encourage new daycare facilities in our city. I had heard for a very long time that finding daycare was incredibly difficult, but I had no idea what level of nonsense awaited me when I became a parent myself. By the time I actually did become pregnant, it was April of 2020. We remembered that. And daycare centers were barely hanging on as COVID shutdowns threw everybody into uncertainty. And I thought for sure we'd have plenty of time. The few daycare centers I contacted suddenly seemed to have no idea how to respond to a mother seeking care for over a year from then. As my husband and I worked out our leave situations with our respective employers, we determined that we would not have to place our baby in daycare until August of 2021. And then in March, when our daughter was 8 weeks old, we visited a local center that we liked, we were happy with it, and we signed what we thought was an agreement to hold her spot for August. She'd be 7 months old by then. But in July, the center called. They said they did not have a spot in August as they had anticipated, and could we wait until October? No, I'm a teacher. The school year starts when it starts. I don't have any leave. My husband didn't have any leave left, and so we had no choice. And this person seemed stunned by my pushback, and I was stunned that they were stunned. But eventually, We reached an agreement. Another branch of that chain had opened near BWI Airport. They could take her until October. So every morning, my husband drove our daughter up to 97 and dropped her off, and fighting traffic all the way back to Annapolis to start his workday. And every afternoon, I drove all the way up 97 and picked her up and battled traffic all the way home. Meanwhile, I tried to pin down an exact start date for the local center because transferring her became a rather bizarre bureaucratic process, and I couldn't get a date out of anyone. Finally, in an absolute Hail Mary, I called another center we'd considered and asked if they had any spots for an 8-month-old, and they could take her on October 25th. And it should tell you how dire the situation was that I remember the exact start date 3 years after the fact, that we finally had a place to put her somewhere near where we live. She's been thriving at that center ever since, and when I became pregnant with our second daughter, I talked to them immediately. As most daycare centers do, they gave priority to current families, so I filled out the paperwork. But securing childcare should simply not be this difficult. That tells us alone that the market for daycare centers is wide open, and we need to make this a little easier for our city's families and to create more job opportunities for those absolute saints who care for our littlest citizens. And I teach high school. I've got a bunch of kids coming out of the child development program at Annapolis High School who would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Okay, anybody else like to come forward and speak on O1324? Okay, on accepting the record the findings and recommendations of the Planning Commission from July 14th, 2024, and I declare the public hearing on O1324 closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is O1624, Special Residential Parking Districts Permit Renewals.
Anybody here to speak on parking?
Point of information, Mr. Mayor, I put in my newsletter that this was not changing parking enforcement. So you have me to thank. Nobody showed up on that.
Thank you very much for doing that. Thank you. This might be a first. I declare the public hearing on O1624 closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is O1724, Elections Definitions.
No speakers.
No one signed up to speak. Anyone like to come forward? I declare the public hearing on O1724 closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
The next item is O1824, Elections Mail-in Voting.
Anybody here signed up? No one signed up. Anyone want to come forward on O1824? I declare O1824's public hearing closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item is O1924, Elections Ballot Questions.
Anybody here like to speak on O1924? Declare the public hearing on O1924 closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item.
Yes, the next item is O2024, Elections Surplus Funds and Reporting Deadlines.
Again, no one signed up to speak. Anyone like to come forward on O2024? Okay, we declare the public hearing closed on O2024. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is O2124, Taxi Cab Driver License Criteria.
Right. So,
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Alderman Gay. Yep.
Thank you. What was the thought behind this, seeing that this is a dying industry?
I'm not very familiar with it, I'm afraid.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah. I can get the information for you if you like. And I'm sure Robert Eads is looking down on us right now. Okay, I declare the hearing on O-2124 closed. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is O2524, Special Residential Parking Districts, Technical Corrections.
Nobody signed up to speak on the technical corrections. I declare O-2524 closed. Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda for public hearing is O2624, City of Annapolis Purchasing and Procurement.
Anybody here to speak on O-2624? I declare the public hearing on O 2624 closed. Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is legislative actions, beginning with second readers. Ordinances. First ordinance for second readers, O 1524, issuance of general obligation bonds and bond anticipation notes.
Is there a motion to adopt O-15-24 on second reader?
So moved.
So moved.
And I'm moving an amendment that I don't know what it is, but could I get a second for that? A technical?
Second.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Is this for 015?
Yes.
And if you need clarification, Director Dickinson's here on the amendment.
Yes, Finance Director Jody Dickinson. The amendment corrected some of the amounts that you see in the exhibit. The exhibit details all the active capital projects. And as you recall, some of the amendments in the June process updated the capital budget with some bonds funding. And the original exhibit that I drafted did not include some of those. So I needed to update the numbers on the exhibit and change the totals that you see in the ordinance. So that's the extent of the amendment.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt O-15-24 as amended on second reader?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt O-15-24 on third reader?
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Gay.
Thank you. And once this passed, the projects listed for the bond ordinance can move forward. The ones that have already been through design, scope review, and are just waiting for money.
Director Dickinson.
Yes, yes, those projects can still move forward. They can access the bond funding that you see in the 25 column. This just makes the bonds available for use and gives the finance director the authority to sell new bonds if we need to in this fiscal year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer?
Aye.
Alderman Gay?
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Huntley?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Aye. Alderwoman Pendle Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is resolutions, beginning with R 4224, Establishment of Salaries Review Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Please have me as a co-sponsor.
Got it?
Me as well.
Okay. Thank you. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer?
Aye.
Alderman Gay?
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Huntley?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Aye. Alderwoman Pendle Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, the agenda is complete.
All right. Anything else for good order? Alderman Shannemeyer.
Happy birthday to our colleague from Ward 2.
All right. Yay.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a nice way to spend your birthday. Alderman O'Neill, you do.
Yes, I'm not sure it's good of the order, but I would like to say that, well, it is good of the order. A shout out to our planning and zoning director who is trying to help a very difficult situation with Morris Bloom. They've been in and out of elevator for the majority of the past week. They've been working on trying to figure out how to best tend to the residents. The city has been trying to best figure out how to tend to the residents. And the managing organization that's overseeing it is being rather difficult. So I do want to shout out to our planning and zoning director who took my desperate plea for help last week and is doing action to hopefully correct it and move forward with better results. So I wanted to say thanks to Chris Jakubiak.
Thanks. Well, we want to thank you as well, Alderman. Thank you.
Kevin and Doug.
Kevin Simmons, Dave Wendell, many of our fire department and our deputy chiefs of fire have also been on call and working around the clock to help the residents. The residents feel trapped. If you live on the 8th floor and you're already, you're feeling really trapped, and I'm getting calls every day from them. But our city staff has really stepped up to help, so I want to thank them all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Alderman Huntley.
Very briefly, Mr. Mayor, I knew there was something I forgot to mention at my Finance Committee report earlier, which is that we have moved some of our second meeting of the month for November, December, and January and February. First two of those we moved up, second two we moved back. And I just want to thank my colleagues on the Finance Committee for being accommodating with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right, meeting adjourned.